Afternoon, everyone. This is Nitha Ramachandra from the NR Hour Sports Show. This is episode 1012. We are live on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, on all the podcast platforms. And fans, please tune in on the Spreaker app. Today we have a special guest. His name is Quincy Wilson. He's a former West Virginia NFL running back. He played for the Falcons, Bengals, Florida Tuskers, and now he's a head coach at Fort Lauderdale. What a great career, great person, and obviously now doing big things, coaching the young, the youth here. So really looking forward to this interview. And like I said, fans, please tune in on the Spreaker app. You can ask questions to Quincy today on that app. So Quincy, thank you for joining us today on the show. And how are you and your family doing?
Pleasure is mine. Everyone as well. Great to be here. Getting revved up for this football season, man.
Yeah. So before we go any further, I just want to pay my respects, my prayers and thoughts go out to the people in Texas right now. After what happened in that school shooting is just crazy. We're hearing all these school shootings happening, and it needs to stop right now. And so my prayers and thoughts are with the kids there, and especially the parents. I feel so bad for the parents, and man, I'm this show will be dedicated for them here. So
no, definitely.
Yeah. So Quincy, tell our fans, obviously, when did you get interested in the game of football, and who do you say that you looked up to while growing up?
Well, I think I've been a football fanatic since birth. Obviously, I was blessed. My father played in the NFL, was with Chicago Bears, Super Bowl. And so growing up, obviously, Walter Payton and Willie Golf, and I grew up in it. So obviously, I became a fan early, like everybody else that's a Chicago fan. But my love and passion for the game grew as I started playing. I started with flag football, and obviously, Pop Warner in middle school, and high school. It gets serious. Really gets serious. So I was just blessed. Obviously, to be the 1 percentile that makes it to the NFL. It was a blessing. But my love for the game was really, really early.
Yeah. So speaking of being a part of a football family, what's that like? What does that mean to you, being a part of a football family? Obviously, your father, living your father's legacy, playing the same sport as your father, and your father playing for a legendary team with the Chicago Bears. And you mentioned Walter Payton. So what does that mean to you, just to be in a football family like that?
It's amazing. It's a blessing. Like I said, I know, it's one of those things, and this is pre-social media, so thanks to the 30 for 30s and all that stuff, it's really got to cast a light on what that team meant, to the city. It's always been special to Chicago, but to see that, and I was a part of that. So, it's humbling, but also it's great, and and I use that as as I get in my I've been a player now in the coaching, that like you said, family. We're a family. We're brothers. We're and that's the only way you get accomplish great things is everybody coming together for one goal.
And would you say being in the locker rooms with your father during his games, and would you say meeting his teammates or being part of that continue to grow for you in your career, being able to play football too?
Yeah, I mean, I've always, not to say I've been in the spotlight, but I've always watched interviews of seeing how people handle themselves. It's always come natural to me. Obviously in high school, you got your local reporters putting a microphone in your face. In college, you get that stuff, and like I said, that all came natural to me. So that was watching how they do things and watching how they handle themselves, on and off the field. Obviously, as we just talked about, Texas, you just never know what's going on in the world. You've done something all year, and all of a sudden, a couple hours can change your life. So handling yourself, make sure you put in a situation, and teaching our guys the same thing. Like don't don't ever take anything for granted. Even the best people, stuff happens to the best peoples in the world. So, just all those life lessons, and make sure, don't take nothing for granted, and make sure we're always teaching these guys, something every day.
Yeah, so we are live with former NFL West Virginia running back Quincy Wilson, now head coach at Fort Lauderdale. We have a fan question ready for you. So one of our fans want to know, how often did your father help you throughout your career growing as a football player?
On them a bunch, especially with my college decision. In high school, I had probably you could only take 5 visits. I think I set up 25. Every school that called, I basically said I was coming. So he helped me on that end. And then once I got to the end of my college career, helping me pick an agent, I wasn't going to be a first round pick, so I need a financial advisor, just little tidbits like that, helping me along the way. But he also let me, make some mistakes and let me do some stuff as parents do. And, those are blessed.
Yeah. So when did you decide on the running back position? Did you get to play any other positions throughout your career? When did you decide the running back?
I've always naturally been a running back. Now, obviously, I played defense, and I think that's kind of what helped me in my career. My dad did play in the NFL, but he played a total different position. He was different body type. So I think, that helped me. I kind of gravitated. I always like running the ball. It always came natural to me. But it was just one of those things that just happened.
Yeah. So speaking of the running back position, obviously you mentioned Walter Payton, but did you look up to did you watch any other running backs that you grew up watching?
I was I watched, Barry Sanders. I watched, coming up, I was a big Ricky Williams fan. I was a big Herschel Walker fan, because I was kind of a run type of guy. I wasn't a shifty cut kind of guy. I was kind of gravitated to those bigger running backs, So definitely followed everybody. Lucky to of a style of play.
Yeah. So throughout your career, would you consider yourself like a northeast type of running back, or northwest, south, whatever how they say it? But would you consider like what type of running back did you bring to the game?
I was a down guy. I was a downhill guy. So we, going to West Virginia, we were I formation, and that's kind of gone by the wayside with the full. Rod came in those last couple of years. We were a 2-back system, but we still had that lead back there. So I was a north-south guy. Like I said, I wasn't no 4-3, hell, even the 4-5 guy. I used quickness and power, and that was my game.
Wow. So tell our fans about how grateful were you that West Virginia was one of the offers there, and you chose West Virginia, and tell us about their history and their college. They have a great football program, great fan base, and obviously Pat White used to go there at West Virginia, the quarterback. But for you, while you were playing, to explain the passionate fan base and your time there in West Virginia.
I won't say like most states, West Virginia football, it's it. There's no pro teams in West Virginia. Obviously, we're a small state. There's only, a couple, 2 million people that live in the whole state total. So, West Virginia football is king. Now, I'm not going to lie and say, I grew up a West Virginia fan. Obviously, with television and all that stuff, the only people on TV when I was growing up was Notre Dame, Michigan, the big guys. I was a Florida State fan because I was a work done guy.
Yeah.
But as I got into high school, and like you said, I've learned the tradition. I followed Amos Airway and Mark Bolger and Darren Stutstill. These guys, they played in some Sugar Bowls. Major Harris, he's from Pittsburgh. I grew up 45 Pittsburgh, so just learning the history, and that's why I use that in my recruiting now. And obviously, I'm at a new school, but the history is going to be what's important to these guys. Like, hey, you're not, people have came before you, and people are going to come after you. So, just being a part of the legacy, of the running backs that came through that school was an honor to me. And like you said, Pat White, Steve Slayton, Noel Devine, Owen Schmidt, it just kept on going and going. So I was blessed to be one small little piece of that. And that I'm very happy that I made that choice to go there.
Hey, in my opinion, you had a great career, man. And West Virginia, you put up some good numbers there, West Virginia. We have another fan question for you. They want to know, they want to ask you about your high school days. What was it like playing underneath the lights on Friday nights?
It was awesome. And it was funny because, like you said, growing up, Randy Moss was a huge, huge folk hero, in West Virginia, and everyone. Was originally committed to Notre Dame, ended up going to Florida State. But, when you grow up in a small state like West Virginia, you kind of wonder, like, well, hey, how in the world is anyone going to know about me here? And, I made up my mind my junior year that, football was going to be, I obviously played other sports, I ran track, played baseball, basketball, but I knew football was going to be my key, to getting a scholarship, and, kind of just made the decision that, hey, I have to do something above and beyond, to get on the map. And then once those opportunities come, make sure I pick the best choice for me. So, it was the first person in the state to rush for 3,000 yards in one season. Obviously, that brought some attention that, that maybe that got me some more offers. I was able to take a visit to Georgia. I was able to take a visit to Northwestern and these places that, but I made my mind up early that, that was my goal, and I wasn't going to let anybody tell me I wasn't going to, be a D1 athlete.
Wow. Yeah, speaking of high school, take us back to the year when you led that team to 14-0 record. You put us some great you put us some great records, 250 yards, managed 47 touchdowns, 290 points that year. So explain to our fans about that year.
Well, the thing that was special about that year is my senior class, we had played together from Pee-wees, from middle school and all the way up to high school. So we were brothers, and I keep going back to family. We had blood, sweat, and cried together and won together. And the year before, we made it to the state semifinals, and we thought we should have made it, but we didn't. So, we all made a pact, we're going to work harder. We're going to get together, and it worked out. We had some things go our way, obviously, but, we had a great year. Obviously had great people blocking for me anytime. It's just not a one-man show, especially back. I had some great people blocking for me, great people out there, and it all came together. It was one of those things where it was the perfect storm, and we're able to go 14-0 and leave a legacy, for a lifetime.
Yeah. So when you were at West Virginia, 2002 was your breakout year there, and take us back to that year and tell our fans about some of the memories you had at West Virginia.
Well, and like you said, and I'm a big goal guy. I came in there, and up to that time, even though my first year was '99, freshmen did not play. They probably you really had to be above and beyond to travel, and that was a big deal to me. My first year I wanted to travel. Unfortunately, that next year, I tore my ACL, and and I was backing up the all-time leading rusher, in the Big East. So again, that kind of came to that point. Fork in the road where I was like, well, hey, I've been here 3 years. I have 2 years left. I have to, how can I get on the field? Obviously this guy, is doing his thing. I have to figure out a way. And I just started competing with him, every lift, every run, every practice. I just started competing with him. And football is the greatest barometer of, it's a truth sport. If you're good, you're good. To the coaches that I can play. We ended up putting some two back stuff in, and almost ran for 1,000 yards as a backup. And then, like you said, my senior year, carried the torch for us to the Gator Bowl.
And all right, take us back to the game against Miami Hurricanes. You had the unbelievable run, and you got mentioned with some honors on ESPN there. So tell us about that moment.
Well, the year before. And obviously, people, they've had 230 for 30s about University of Miami. So they are, the premier program from, 2001, all the way up to about 2008. And, but the year before we should have beat them. They came up to our place. We had them 30, 39, 29, and, they just had more guys, than us. So we had the confidence. And I preach that to our guys now. Okay, yes, we look at film. We see they're great. There's NFL, Pro Bowler, future Hall of Famers. But, we had the great game plan. Like I said, the year before we ran for almost 300. We knew we could run the ball, and I knew if we kept the game close, we'd have a chance. And it was one of those things. We got in there, and we kept it close. We took the lead, but and you asked about the play. It was a screen pass, and we had not ran a screen all year, so. We called a run, and the guy, I think Vince Wilfork, got right through, and it kind of made him miss. And after that, all the blocks were I just kind of followed my blocks, to the end zone, and obviously, finished the run at the end. And it was one of those plays that one of them once in a lifetime things that happen. If we ran that play 20 times, we probably had 20 different results. But for that result was the win, but we didn't get the win. But it is what it is. But that's one of those things I told you. Even though it's 2020 was it 2 now, people still talk about that play way back in 2003. So that's humbling to me and awesome. And if I can have one lasting memory for Mountaineer fans, I'm glad it's a good one.
Yeah. So we have another fan question for you. They want to know, as a player, do you care about the stats, or throughout they want to know throughout your career, did you care about the stats, or you just went out there just to focus and win some games?
As I got older, it changed. My high school, obviously, I'm not gonna lie to you. I wanted to run for 12 yards of carry. As I got to college, I got a little bit more humbled and realized that it's a more of a team thing, and it's about that. And obviously NFL, I was just trying to make a roster. Yeah. So it changed. Like I said, as a youth, I would definitely say I was about that. But as I got older and mature, my process changed.
Yeah. So speaking of, what was it like for you? What did it mean for you when ESPN honored you and obviously you got all American honors, all big honors, and for them to be able to honor you, especially throughout your college season, what did that mean to you with ESPN?
It's a blessing. It's a combination. Like I said, that was my senior year. A lot went into my college career. Like I said, I got hurt early and had to play behind the great players. So to be, like you said, to be recognized, out of all the people that play my position, especially at running back, it was an honor, and it was a culmination of a good career.
So did you go through after your college career? Did you go through the combine, the NFL combine?
Went out to Arizona, trained out in Arizona with some, great guys, D'Angelo Hall and Roy Williams, and some first round guys with that. I had great experience there, and then obviously going to the combine, and it was actually the first year that they actually started filming the combine.
Oh,
pretty cool, to have camera in your face, and, people watch people what you're doing, and now it's to see what it is now. And like I said, people will watch the 04 combine. It was kind of you see them little tumbleweeds, kind of going through. It wasn't the spectacle that it is now. But we were the original, filmed combine, so that was awesome. And, great experience. Obviously getting to talk to the GMs and the coaches, and going through that process. But it was, I ain't gonna lie to you, anybody that's gone through it will tell you that is hell on earth. Those 3 days are the worst 3 days of your life. They say it's a job interview, but it's 32 job interviews. Yeah. So imagine having to 3 days to, whatever your profession is, to meet everybody and have to be on point and have to, do that stuff. But I was prepared. Like I said, earlier in life, I was prepared for that stuff. It came natural and I enjoyed it. And I think that's the biggest thing. When you go into situations like that, you have tough stuff, enjoy it, embrace it. And that's going to, get some of that nervousness out of there for you.
Yeah. So for you, when it came to the interviews during the combine, what do you try and tell them, and what do you try to tell them about your talent and making sure that you're the right fit for their team? And what goes to a player's mind when you're in that situation in the room with all 32 or whoever's meeting with you?
Right. So I think the biggest thing, and then even in life, is really hammer what you do well. Now, I think a lot of people are like kind of modest. Well, I had a good year. I could have done better. Like, no, if you are in this room, you're obviously one of the best people in the country. Obviously, they only invite so many people to this combine. So embrace that. And I talked about, me. I talked about my experiences. I tried to be as relatable as possible, to coaches, and especially the running back coaches, that, hey, if you do draft me, I'm going to be, the hardest working guy in the room. I'm going to play every special team. You can see my film. I run the ball, catch the ball, I can do everything. And just putting your best foot forward and just making sure that, that you breed confidence, have confidence. And I tell guys all the time, they're like, hey, man, what about the combine? What do you think? I'm like, hey, man, have fun with it. Tell yourself, sell your game. They already know. They have it's a science. They have 30, 40 people watching your film, 30 people, they have y'all scouted, have y'all. So you're not going to fool them or BS them about anything. So just go in there, have fun. They just want to see you. They want to know what kind of guy you are. If I give you $1 million, can you handle that? Can you are you from small America? Can you live in New York City? That's what they want to know. So just putting your best foot forward and make sure everything is good on that end.
Yeah, so we have another fan question for you. They want to know, after the game you had against Miami, did Edgerrin James reach out to you?
I've talked to a lot of guys after that. And it's funny because once you're in the NFL, you see these guys everywhere, airport, golf outings, Pro Bowls, games, Super Bowls. So it's one of those things. And now I'm coaching in South Florida. Go figure that. So yeah, it's great. I got a couple buddies of mine that are on the staff now, and looking forward to building that great relationship with all these Power 5 schools down this way.
Wow. Yeah. So take us through your draft experience. You got drafted in round 7, pick 219 by the Atlanta Falcons in the year 2004, and obviously you have to wait a long time, but at the end of the day, it's worth it once you get drafted. So take us through your draft experience with your family, waiting for a long time till round 7.
Right. Well, the biggest thing now, like I said, the draft is even longer. It's 3 days now. They kind of do the first round, second, third, and then they finish it out third. Back in the day, it was 2 days. So I knew where I was going. I knew I was a 5th to 7th round guy. So really, I didn't care about I just wanted that. But what people don't realize is about round 5, teams start calling you. So your phone will ring. You're thinking, I'm about to get drafted. And there's someone saying, well, hey, this is the Saints. If we're in the 6th round, we're going to take you. Hey, this is the Buck, and vice versa. So it's more stressful because, like you said, I did my draft, party Friday night and kind of did the thing. And then, like I said, I knew Saturday I was going to get drafted sometime. Mm-hmm. So I kind of took the stress off. It was stress. There was no stress. I knew I was going to get my name called. I didn't think I was going to wait, to the 7th round, but it got called. I was one of 256 guys that got drafted, and I will always, have that with me. But the process, I enjoyed it. I knew where I was and kind of just let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, so once you got drafted, you spend a little time with the Falcons camp, and you got to be around Michael Vick, Warrick Dunn, as you mentioned earlier, that you looked up to, and you got to be with D'Angelo Hall, who you competed with in the combine. So what was that like, spending your first part of your career with the Falcons, and being with players like that?
Well, it was awesome, man. Me and Mike played together in the Big East. He was obviously at Virginia Tech, star of Virginia Tech. Obviously, D Hall the same. It was awesome, and like I say, your dream is crazy because you're a fan up until 21 years. I'm a fan of football, and all of a sudden they say, well, now this is a business and you are now a professional player. So it was crazy to kind of, you want to say, oh my God, that's Warrick Dunn, that's Peerless Price, that's Michael Brook, but you got to be like, hey, teammates, give them a fist. You got, you know what I mean? So, it was surreal. And then, like you said, you get drafted, and literally 2 days later, you're off to minicamp. So there's really not even time to process it. They give you this big, thick playbook, and and then we were the West Coast system, so a lot of terminology. So you kind of go from the excitement of the draft, and then, like I said, 48 hours later, you're literally diving into being a professional football player. So it was great. Like I said, having Warrick Dunn there, a veteran. But he kind of said, well, hey, man, while you're here, take care of your body, take care of your money, take care of stuff off the field, and those are, kind of 3 things I live by my whole career as an NFL player.
Would you say being with him in Atlanta helped you out to become a better running back throughout your rest of your career?
It's the reason why I lasted 4 years. Yeah. The reason why I lasted 4 years. I never been a guy who would ever go into a place and get a pedicure, but it made sense. We wear cleats. You got to take care of your feet. Ice tubs. Massages. Chiropractors. All that stuff. Prolong my body, prolong my career. I played a punishing position. One outside. The up front guys who get hit every time. Running backs. You're getting hit from every angle and hit by some way bigger guys than me. So the little tidbits and stuff they gave me. Last as carry me on to now.
Yeah. What advice did Warrick Dunn give you?
Like I said, take care of your body for sure. Obviously, keep good people around you. Don't let the hangers on, as we all know, your new friends, coming. But be about business. Be on time. Do your stuff, because again, this is a business. And it's short lived. I've seen guys, go out for one practice and be cut at the end. So it is cutthroat. And and as long as you keep it that way, you'll be able to last.
Yeah. So we have another fan question for you. They want to know, what was Michael Vick like as a teammate?
Great teammate, great dude. And he had the weight of the world on him, obviously being the number 1 pick, and then he had success, that first year you go, and then my rookie year, we make the NFC Championship game. So, it's a lot of pressure, a lot of stuff coming. Obviously, he played about another 8 years after that. So obviously he was a great talent. And like I said, getting a chance to play with him in college and getting a chance to play in the NFL was definitely a great experience.
I'm just curious, do you know the reason why it didn't work out with Atlanta, but you got an opportunity with the Cincinnati Bengals after?
Mm-hmm. Well, I was on practice squad, which, when you're on practice squad, any other team in the league can sign you. Mm-hmm. So, it came up, there was a chance, at the end of the season, to get some game checks. And, I thought about it. Well, I've been here a year, but, obviously, you can't pass up any opportunity. So I took the opportunity to go to Cincinnati, and it worked out because I ended up playing another 3 years.
Yeah, so speaking of Cincinnati, you got to play with Carson Palmer, Rudy Johnson, who's an underrated player, which no one talks about anymore. Rudy Johnson was a great player. You played with TJ, Chad Ochocinco. So what was it like being with Cincinnati? Tell about that. And obviously they have a great fan base now too.
Yeah, and loaded, awesome. Love what they did last year.
Yeah.
Like I said, fan base was starving for that. But we had a hell of a team, man. Outside of, and you can never say if someone does get hurt, you can win. But, we had all the pieces to be a Super Bowl team, that 05 team. And obviously, we got beat by Pittsburgh, who ended up winning the whole thing. But it showed me how fragile, every season is. Every team's different. And we pretty much brought back the same nucleus in 06. But Carson was coming off a knee. Every other thing that came on, and we end up again, getting beat by Pittsburgh. There, a chance to go to the playoffs, and they beat us, there in overtime. So, obviously, my first year, I get the NFC Championship game. The next year, a chance to go to the Super Bowl again. And then next to my 2-year career, we didn't even get the playoffs. So it's a crazy game, but again, a lifelong experiences that I've taken into coaching that, hey, this is, obviously, next year, we'll have 85 guys, but this team will be different next year, and it'll be different next year. So while we're here, let's salvage everything we can and make sure, we put our best forward.
Yeah. We had your former teammate on the show. Dwayne Clemens was on the show too.
Yeah. Yep.
He had a great career, and it was an honor talking to him. So one of our fans want to know, what was it like? What's it like being in the jungle with those fan base?
Awesome. One of the best venues in the NFL. City of Cincinnati, obviously, they had this boomer size in them, so that fan base is rabid.
Yeah.
They love their Bengals. Like I said, we played in that NFC North with some great, the Steeler dynasty, Big Ben and those guys, and obviously Ray Lewis and Ed Reed. It was just awesome.
Wow.
Being that arena, as they say, and we had some great times, and definitely lifelong memories.
Yeah. So speaking of those battles in the division, obviously Bengals Steelers always battle it out. So it's like they're like the rivalry there. So what was it like battling against the Steelers, Ravens, Browns, and all?
Well, it was a little unique for me because, like I said, I grew up 45 minutes from Pittsburgh. I was I was a Bears fan, obviously, but my second team was obviously the Steelers. So, and I knew all those guys when I went back to the offseason. I knew Ike, I knew Joey Porter, and I knew Willie Parker. I knew all those guys. So it was an extra, like you said, play. When you play someone you want to beat them even more. So that was awesome to compete with them for a couple of years, and like I said, the Steelers I think went to 3 Super Bowls while I was in the league, so they were the premier organization in the league at the time.
Yeah. So who would you say the toughest defensive player you had to go against? Sorry, Julius Peppers?
Not even close. Great athlete I've ever seen in my life.
Wow. That's every time I ask that question to most of the players we have on, they always say Julius Peppers.
Yeah. You got to think 6'7", 280 pounds, was as fast as any running back, and as big as any lineman. So he was a unique talent. Obviously, he played, I think 15, 16 years in the league. So he great talent and future Hall of Famer. I could say I actually tried to block a future Hall of Famer.
Yeah, so one of our fans want to know what was your hype music throughout your career?
Well, I grew up in the crunk era, as they say. So, a lot of some New Orleans, Paul Wall and those guys, Master P, and so I grew up in the crunk era. So I would say crunk music was probably my hype music growing up.
Nice. How about the classic, the '90s, like Tupac, Biggie, and
yeah. And they're still, you can still listen to that now. So obviously, I was a Tupac Biggie fan, and the Bad Boy era, and it was good music. And like I said, but I enjoy the stuff now. Obviously, being a coach, you hear all the music now, and I always say, well, hey man, I always try to sneak my stuff in at practice as well.
Yeah. So what would tell? How grateful are you to be in this position and obviously be making the NFL like your father who played in the NFL also, and what would you say some of your best moments as a Cincinnati Bengal was, and how grateful are you to live your father's legacy also?
Obviously, my first carry got my first carry against the Patriots. In 06, I led the NFL and preseason rushing yards. So I had some highlights. Obviously, you want to play eight or 9 years and be a millionaire, but that wasn't my reality. I have some lasting memories. I made some great lifelong friends, in the game, and that's what you take. You take that stuff, but you make sure that you use that stuff, now, and I think, when I talk to kids and I talk to, recruits, and they're like, well, hey, you're at the University of Fort Lauderdale, but I can contact any 32 NFL teams that I can. I can have contact, there's stuff that we have worked out that, other, people cannot do. And, so there's some unique stuff, and I'm just blessed. Like I said, to be a head coach has been my dream for a long time, and I'm getting to do that. This is my first season here, and like I said, get excited to see these guys and see how they develop, and see what we do this year.
Yeah. So speaking of a head coach, let's start with obviously back. You went to your old college to coach with them as a running backs coach. So tell us about that experience being a running backs coach for your former college.
Well, they say you can always come home.
Yeah.
Chance to I was out of football, and I got a chance to do be in the private sector with some stuff, and there's opportunity came to be do some operational stuff at West Virginia. We were just transitioning into the Big 12, which was awesome and a great experience there. But and just use that. Again, just using that networking in to get into coaching. I coached at Glenville, was running backs coach there, and last 5 years was at West Virginia State. One of my ex-teammates, getting that place turned around. So, all these experiences, were leading up, to this moment now.
Yeah. So speaking of, actually, I want to ask you about the UFL league, which you played in, the Florida Tuskers.
Yep.
What kind? If fans don't know about that, tell us about that league. And I think it's back now, right?
It lasted, I think, 2-3 years. There was only 4 teams. We all trained in Orlando. Ended up playing each other twice, and I think there was only 4 or 5 games. It was literally 2 months. 2 months stuffed. A whole season stuffed into 2 months. But I still played. I still had the itch to play. I knew I didn't want to play in Canada. I was like, hey, I played in the NFL at the top. Top of the top, if there's a chance to play here, I am. Great experience, but again, it wasn't for me. I played, that was more of an upstart league, and I think, as you see now, with the rock bottom XFL and USFL, having success, I think people are realizing that these leagues can function. Obviously, there's been different leagues that was sprouted up over years, but the model is keep it small. Keep it in the spring, keep it away from the NFL model, and there's a chance, to have some success there.
Yeah. So before we go any further about your coaching career here at Fort Lauderdale, what do you like about these new other leagues now that are giving former NFL players some chances to come back and play? For example, Michael Vick announced that he's coming out of retirement to play in some league. If you heard about that,
yeah, John had a fan control thing.
Yeah.
I think I don't know about that, but
what do you like about the XFL coming back and then USFL?
Absolutely. I'm a football junkie, and it's great to turn on, and then it's great. They got the drones, and they got everything mic'd up, and I love it. So I love that. I can't wait for next year. When XFL comes, and football year round, that's a plus for me.
Yeah. So when was the first time that you knew that you wanted to be a head coach, and when did Fort Lauderdale connect with you?
Pretty early. Like I said, being at West Virginia, like I said, obviously, that was a Power 5 school, and but I seen the impact that coaches have on guys, and I have some huge coaching mentors that I look up to, and I seen that, and I think it's a chance to there's nothing like obviously you never know how your career is going to go, but and the recruitment and the development and all that stuff. And then a guy, 10 years from now, obviously, we're just starting, but, a guy who comes in my program and 10 years from now says, well, hey, I'm a husband, I have a great job. And I thank you because you put me on that right track. And that's the reward for me. I'm not going to obviously play nothing never down of football in my life. So it's about, the legacy that we can build for guys. So pretty early, I want to be a head coach because, like I said, there's an impact that you can make on people that it's unbreakable.
Yeah. So are you planning on bringing your father on the coaching staff?
No, I think he just wants to sit in the stands and be the Monday morning quarterback, all that stuff. But no, we have a great staff. my teammates, Damon Cogdell's my defense coordinator. I have a great offensive coordinator there. So, we're excited. I'm more of the head coach. I want to put guys on. It's so hard to break into coaching, obviously, if you're a name guy, it's pretty easy for you to get jobs. So I want to be this program where, hey, I coach, I've been trying to get into coaching for 12 years or whatever. Well, come here. Here's an experience. Here's a chance to do it. And then I kind of want to be that kind of head coach where I kind of, not just giving kids opportunities, but guys that always want to be in college coaching, giving them the opportunities as well.
Yeah. So what are you most looking forward to in this, for your first year of head coaching at Fort Lauderdale? And obviously football season coming up soon. There's no off season for you guys. So
right.
What have you been telling your team about this upcoming year, and what have you guys been focusing on, and what are you most looking forward to?
Well, the biggest thing is now and usually, the model was, hey, once we get into camp, let's build it during camp. I've started with my guys a month ago. Hey, let's building this connection now. Let's start building this team now. So when we get August, we're just, that's just the icing on the cake. So, building that connection, building that, physicality, building that camaraderie now. Obviously, summer programs are all different now with the resources you have. Obviously, we're working on getting that stuff done. But as we go forward, I look forward to once summer school starts, which it just started this week. And these guys going, and then getting ready for August. So I'm most what I'm looking for most is just the opportunity, to lead a program, just be a leader, serve it. I can't wait to get these guys in our community. I can't wait to see our guys, come together. We have guys from California, we have guys from Jersey, we have guys that are coming together to South Florida, and just seeing if we can get that done.
Yeah. So speaking of recruiting, what was it like your first year recruiting players to come to your college, Fort Lauderdale? What's your pitch to these players?
Well, to me, my biggest thing is obviously, making them realize that, this is an opportunity, for you to be successful. Now, obviously, the recruiting model has changed with this transfer portal and this and that stuff. So, the opportunities are few and far between now. So, obviously, connecting with the guy, connecting with, mom, dad, and all that, and making them realize that, hey, even though we are a small NAI school in Florida, we can do everything that your son wants to get done. Everything, educationally, football wise, and then off the field. So just making sure people realize that don't look at, of course, everybody wants to go to Alabama. Everybody wants to go to Ohio. Everybody wants to play on TV. Everybody wants that. But don't think that's the only place you can go to get what you need to get done.
Hey, but Deion Sanders, man, speaking of him, HBCU schools is growing big time. I love about that. And I think a couple of players got drafted this year from Jackson State University. So it doesn't matter where you go. It matters how hard you put the work in, and if you want to get to your dream, there's a way that you can. And teams do look at. I'm happy to see NFL teams look at the colleges that most people don't. So I feel like you can find a lot of talent in smaller schools, and that's what the NFL teams did this year in this draft. Find other talent in smaller schools.
Yep, and we're lucky. We have 3 professional teams in Florida. So if you're doing something nice, you're doing something big here, it will be noticed.
Yeah. So for you, one of our fans want to know: are you going to be a hard-nosed coach? Are you a hard-nosed coach during practices?
You know what? I'm a between the lines guy. We're out there for those 2 hours and 2.5 hours. We're going to coach these guys hard, but it's also can't just be football. These are life lessons. You got to put your arm around the guy. The kids are different. When I was coming up, they told you run 16 laps. You ran 16 laps. There wasn't much question to it. Now these kids know why we're doing this, and they want to know that you care about them. They want to know. So, our biggest thing is, like I said, knowing that, hey, when we get on this field, it is about business, but then making sure when there are mistakes or there are times to correct stuff, that we are absolutely making sure that, we're making sure these kids know that we care about them, number one. And then 2, tell them how they can get better. Now, I will yell at a guy, but my next thing will be, well, hey, this is why you can get better, and this is why I know you can help us. So let's make this correction so we can win some ball games.
Yeah, we gotta the next time we're in Fort Lauderdale, we gotta come cover one of your games.
Oh, I love it. I would love it. We'll get you scheduled, get you guys set up, and we're really looking excited about that, and full schedule, and definitely you know where to find us.
Yeah. Yeah. So I saw your shirt, coaching success. What does that mean to you as a coach?
Again, there's nothing like a coach. There's nothing like a teacher. There's nothing like a mentor, and there's nothing like anything. And that's what we are. We're everything. I got to be a psychologist, and then I got to be an equipment guy. Especially at our level. It's all hands on deck, and I love it. I embrace it. Challenge accepted. I've talked to some people, and I always tell them kind of what I've done the first 2-3 months while I've been here, and they always look at me like, wow. Because people don't know. You just see what happens on Saturdays. You just think, well, hey, who's going to order helmets or who's going to do this? It's stuff. There's people for that. So, I think seeing letting people in on that process, it's been awesome, and we're definitely looking forward to getting things rolling here in a couple months.
Yeah. So, coach, tell our fans. I'm just curious. Most of these coaches like to set rules and guidelines with their players. When it comes, for example. We have a Rutgers, there's a local college here, so we've been covering lacrosse lately, and their head coach has a rule where if they win a big game or he has a 24-hour rule for them where they can celebrate that win and get ready for the next game after that 24 hours. So are you the type of coach that will install like a rule or guideline for these players if you can let them like celebrate a big win or upset win?
Yeah. I think I like that 24-hour rule with that, but I think in the end, like I said, it can't. I think my biggest thing with this program is letting them know that respect the win.
Yeah.
So when it happens, like, hey, that's awesome, and we're going to celebrate. But hey, we expected to do that because how we hard work, how hard we practice, how we prepare. So keeping everything, don't let any win be. Like I think Tom Brady said, my favorite championship is the one right now. Keeping that mindset with these guys that, hey, even if we're 10-0, it's all about this next game. And if we're 11-0, it's all about this next game. And then when the season's over, it's all about getting prepared for the next season. Like as long as we keep these young guys, focused on what the task is at hand, I think, hell, we can celebrate for 48 hours, but as long as we know, it's time to work, it's time to work when the real bullets start flying again.
Have you connected with Tom Brady since he's in Florida?
I have not, but I got a good buddy there on the staff, and like I said, I'm a Bears fan, so I won't catch, you won't catch me in Tampa Bay unless the Bears are playing them.
Yeah. So speaking of who do you like? Who are some of the running backs do you like to watch now in the NFL?
Oh wow, there's some great ones out there. Obviously, Derrick Henry is one of the best in the league, right there with Derrick Henry. I like Joe Mixon, Cincinnati, obviously follow him. But I like diversity. I like seeing guys that do it all. And when I came to the league, it was kind of hand the ball. It was Eddie George and those guys. You hand the ball 30 times. Now, there's a committee. There's guys that come with that. So it's great for these guys that can play. Careers can be a little longer, but I'm a fan of all. I like watching college running backs. I show my guys, hey, see how this guy did this, and watch how this guy does that, and trying to give them more food for thought. And when you're teaching these kids, you're letting them know that, hey, there's many ways to get things done. There's many body types. Derrick Henry's almost 6'4", but there's 5'3" Cole, who's 5'7". He gets it done as well. So, making sure that they're and challenging them. I told every guy, any guy on our roster that's, hey, I want to be in the NFL. You should have watched every combine. You should have watched every drill, and you should have watched everything they said about these guys and put it to your game. They've given you the keys to the test. So refine. That's what it's about. Not just obviously guys they think, well, I run a 4.3, I'm gonna make it to the league. No. It's your intangibles. How well do you know football? Are you a good teammate? Can you? That's the kind of stuff that people don't realize, and I make sure our guys know that early, so they can these guys got a head start on it, and they can have a chance to hopefully be professionals as well.
Yeah, Derrick Henry is built like a linebacker. It's crazy, and obviously I'm a big Cowboy fan. So we got Zeke there, and then there's one player everybody should be looking out for. We hung out with him in the golf course 3 weeks ago. Saquon Barkley from the Giants. He looks healthy now.
Oh yeah.
I think everybody should be watching him for a prime season with him. And But man, I just like the youth of this game now. A lot of young talent in the NFL and from colleges, and a lot of young talent getting their chances to start right away too. So,
Exactly.
so as a coach, what's it going to be like for you? Before we get to the last two things, what's it going to be like for you to relate your stories when you were playing in college or high school and NFL, to be able to relate and tell your stories to your players now?
It's going to be everything. It's going to be everything. We have to make it real to them, and we have to earn their trust. We have to make sure, that we know that it's not just coach, player, it's his family. I want, if it's coming from me, it's like dad telling you something, or if it's coming to me like an uncle giving you advice. I don't want, that player coach dynamic is what's going to get us through this first couple of years, and then once we really get the talent, really, we'll really, sell that. But yeah, those stories and those experiences will be key. And, and I love telling football stories get better as you get older anyway. So like you said, that Miami run was an 80-yard, run, and I reverse field and all that stuff. So, making them fun to them, but also, like I said, making sure that, you always make sure they're challenging them to get better. You could have the best day of your life, but tomorrow I'm going to expect that much more from you, because, we care about you, we love you, and we want to see you be great.
Yeah, so the last two things, our team is part of this foundation. It's called the Hugh Jackson Foundation. He's a former NFL coach. Now he's a coach at Grambling State University. So we're trying to help him prevent human trafficking, making sure the community stays safe, the kids stay safe. So we'll send you the foundation so you can go check it out.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, and the last thing here, would you like to say anything to all the nurses, doctors, and all the essential workers right now?
I would love to. I appreciate everything you do. Obviously, the pandemic taught us a lot about life, how precious it is. But there's also those people that go to work and go to, to make a living for themselves as well. So they're definitely appreciated. A lot of that stuff does not get, spoken about as much. Now, obviously, we have other things that, it's kind of the 15-minute cycle. Now, everything is the worst in the world, and all of a sudden, it's the next thing up. But those guys, men and women, are awesome. And like I said, we're in debt to them for forever.
Was Coach Hugh Jackson there when you were in Cincinnati?
Yeah, our receivers coach.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep. Right. And like my coaching mentor has been, talking to him, since I've gotten the game, and really excited that he got back in coaching. I know you really, really wanted to get there. And obviously, the HBC movement is really come and go. Obviously, we had Eddie George at Tennessee State and Dion doing his thing down there. And it's great. There's opportunity. There's opportunity, if you're in Louisiana or you're in Texas, you don't have to go to LSU. You don't have to go to Alabama. You can come here, get a quality education, and play high quality football as well.
Yeah, we're happy for him, and I'm just happy to be part of his foundation. We're just trying to help find ways to stop human trafficking, and it's so horrible out there. But
it's South Florida, and it is a real thing. It is a real thing. So doing a great job, and keep continued success with that.
Yeah, thank you. And would you like to plug where people can find you on social media?
Yeah. I am at Coach Wilson on Twitter, at Coach Wilson on all platforms. Obviously, like I said, University of Fort Lauderdale football second-year program, and we are super, super, super excited to get things rolling. Appreciate any support. Appreciate anybody you guys checking in, and appreciate you guys having me on. This is a great avenue. I could talk football for 3 hours, so appreciate you. Obviously, come on down and come on back and see us.
I know we're gonna make a trip pretty soon, hopefully soon, to visit you guys, and that would be awesome, and cover one of your games. But there you have it. That wraps up episode 1012 with former West Virginia NFL running back Quincy Wilson, and now he's the head coach for Fort Lauderdale. So go check him out. Go follow him on all social media formats. They're getting ready for the season. They're primed and locked in. So thank you again, Quincy, for joining us. It's truly an honor, and like I said, we would love to have you back on the show so you can meet the full team, and hopefully we can make a trip down there pretty soon. But man, good luck this season. Congrats on getting the job, and keep up the great work.
Thank you, guys. Stay blessed and stay healthy.
Thank you.